What is up, everybody? I hope you're all doing well, and welcome back to another Diablo video. So today, I'm going to be talking about a few settings that you should know about that for some reason the game starts with them toggled off, and some of them are really helpful, and I haven't seen it talked about too much, so it would be really good to know about these and see if there's something that would work or help you guys out. So let's get into them. So there's a lot of choice here in the gameplay tab, which is where we're going to be looking at today, and there's a lot of things that you could just very easily glance over without noticing in here because there is a lot of options, which I definitely recommend taking the time to look through and see if there's anything that would work better for you or just make the game generally more comfortable. It is nice how much choice there is through the settings, but what we're going to be looking at today is the Advanced Tooltip and Advanced Tooltip Compare, which for me and my clanmates, they started off. What these do is, in order, the Tooltip Compare will show you the difference in stats when looking at a new item. So you have an item on, let's say it's a one-handed sword, you have a one-handed sword in your inventory, you compare them, it will show you the difference in stats. So as you can see here with no other options on, I will compare it, and you can see all of the negatives and positives of equipping the new item. I don't particularly like this one myself. It's just a lot of information and, looking at the items and kind of knowing what I'm doing. I don't really need this extra help. But if you're a little more casual or maybe just starting out or you don't want to hyper focus on all your stats, this could be really convenient because you could simply press shift or whatever the option is on controller, compare the item, and if you see that there's a whole bunch of green positives here and not a lot of red, you just click it and keep going with your game, and you've probably upgraded by quite a bit. For someone more advanced, you might like it just to be able to see all the info at once, but it's probably not as necessary if you're real familiar with stats and gearing and all that kind of fun stuff. But this is a nice option to have available, and the game doesn't tell you about having it at all, and it does start off. So I thought that was worth mentioning. So we will go ahead and turn that one back off as I don't use it, and the one I find even more important is the Advanced Tooltip Information, which also starts off by default, and I will show you what that looks like. So normally you would look at a piece of gear and it would simply say, we'll look at my top substat there, 79.8 overpower damage. Now you don't know if that's good, you don't know if that's bad, you just know that that's what the piece of gear does, and legendary effects do the same, which you'll see at the bottom. Pulverize creates a shockwave traveling forward, dealing 168% of its damage to targets in the path. Now, if you don't have this on, you would only be seeing that highlighted, the main number, what the item actually has. That little bracket to the side, which in the legendary effect one there says 120 to 200. That's the range of the ability. So what I rolled was a 168 out of 200. Not perfect, but it's not bad. So I can look at this and know what the maximum it can be on a roll, which is really nice when you need to pay attention to whether you should focus on getting another one of that legendary aspect that's stronger, and it lets you know how far that can be pushed, and just, whether the one you have is good or not. And same thing with the gear, you can look and see what a damage roll is. For instance, again, back to the top substat, the 79.8 overpower damage, that only rolls from 58 all the way up to 117 right now. So there's a lot of damage there that I could have if I rolled a stronger one, or possibly tried to re-roll that substat, but that's very expensive and a whole big mess. So this is information that can be really useful to you when picking your pieces of gear or picking what kind of gear you're going to get, because let's say this Pulverize was a 200% or like 195. That would be a really good roll. So I might stop trying to look for items that can have the Pulverize skill because I already have it at about the top end it can go. So I might spend my time trying to get a, different pair of boots or pants or something, a different effect that I could use more growth in. So this showing you more stats can just make a really big difference in letting you understand where you're at with your gear and what your gear is doing for you and how much better you can grow with it. And I just think that's very important, and I was very surprised to see that this showing you all this wasn't something that's just on by default with the option to turn it off. So I thought this is something everybody should know about. And there's one more little quality of life thing that my clanmate actually really likes and toggles on before every world boss fight, and that is the display player highlights. I saw these, didn't think about it, and just kind of ignored it because I'm used to not having it. I just didn't care for it. But he loves this because you can highlight your player in whatever color you want. So you are now, all lit up like a Christmas tree. But what this does is let you be seen. You can't really see it well, but it highlights you through characters, through the environment, and just gives you a unique color glow, as where everyone else generally is not going to so much. So this can help you keep track of yourself a lot better in the bigger fights, such as the world bosses. So this is definitely something worth knowing in case you have troubles with that and would like to be able to spot yourself a lot better and know where you are. And again, this is one that is off by default, so I thought it was definitely worth pointing out. So hopefully some of these options can be useful to you guys. If there's any hidden options that I didn't mention here that you find really useful, I'd love to hear about it down in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.